Hello and welcome to this tutorial. I'm Morris Dimba, and today it is a continuation on how to create a footbridge supported on curved frames. If you take a look on the screen here, you can see our previous work, and today if you take a look, if I zoom close, you can see columns arranged along the profile of these curved frames. And today we want to brace up these columns and to lay or place the pedestrian's walkway on top of these columns. Now let me just bring them close and start first of all by placing the beams along, or placing the beams on these columns. Now let me come to steel and come to beam here, and first of all just place my beam from this end, just from that end, and stretch all the way to this end. Let me just place one here, and that's all. That's one beam, and I want to give it an offset of 200. I'll come to special move or move special here and click linear, and and prior to moving it down or up, please check the position or the orientation of your XYZ axis. In this case, our XYZ axis is here and the Z axis is facing up. Now we'll be moving against the Z axis. Now only the Z-axis should have a number, and that number should be moving in the right direction that we intend it to. Now the rest should remain at 0. Now what I'm going to do here, I'll come to Z-axis here and change this to 0, and come to Y-axis and maintain it at 0. Then come here on Z-axis and I'll feed the number that I intend to help me move this beam. You're seeing on the screen here marked green, downward. So I intend to move it downward by 300 or 200 millimeter. So I'll feed here 200 and prefix that dimension with a negative sign because we are moving down in the opposite direction of the axis. Now I'll go ahead and click move, and you can see that has moved down perfectly well. Now I'll select on it once again because I need a number of this. Now I'll select on it and come to spatial copy here and click linear. Then on the same Z axis, I'll change everything to 0 because I'm working with only one axis, because if you use both of them, you'll get something very funny and taking a very weird direction. Now I'll come to Z axis here. I'll prefix my measurement, which is 2.5 by negative sign. So I'll go ahead and click copy, but I'll need a number of this. I'll need approximately 3. So I'll go ahead and click 3 and click OK. So I have 3 of them here. So these 3, or I'll just ignore the fourth one and press Control and select all these. I'll right click and come to spatial copy here and click linear. Once I've clicked linear, first of all I'll make sure the interval measurement between these columns are even. So this is okay, and what I'm going to do, I'll just right click once again. I'll right click once I've selected the beams that I intend to populate along this X-axis. I'll right click and come to spatial copy here and click linear, and now I'll change the Z-axis to 0 because we don't intend to populate anything along the Z-axis. Now I'll go to X-axis now, and along the X-axis I'll prefix my dimension with a negative sign, and I want to populate these beams along the X-axis at a distance of 6 meters. Now I need 14 of these. I'll feed 14 on number of copies, then go ahead and click OK. So you see, it takes instant. They have been distributed exactly as within a second. Now I'll select these 3. I'll select these 3 and just copy them manually here. I'll pick it from that position and transfer this to this position because the distance between this end and this end are not the same. So that's why I've ignored it and just copy this manually. Now I'll bring it close here, and that's all. So if I zoom out, and then I'll be able to come at the bottom end here and remove the beams that I don't want, I don't intend to use them, or they're in the wrong position, and delete them. I'll come here and delete that, and come here and delete whatever I don't want. Come here and delete that one and delete this one also. Come all the way, that one will remain that position, and just remove unwanted member. So that's okay. And once you've done that, I'll come here again, I'll right click and come to special copy or copy. I'll just snap on top here and pick it from that position and move all the way to the bottom end here, and snap on the same position to copy another one below it, and do the same thing here. I'll place another one right there. You can see that it is in the right position. So I'll do the same thing here. I'll select on that, right click and come to special copy or copy. Don't use special copy, and I want to snap or copy a number of them at the bottom end here, because the heights are different. The heights are different, so these beams will not be the same all the way to the bottom end. So I'll select this one also, and right click and come to copy and zoom out, and I'll select it on that midpoint and place it right here. So we have another one at the bottom end here. So that one remain, that one will be okay, that one will be okay, the positions will be okay, that one will be okay. Then we have to add another one here. Select copy and zoom out and pick it from that position and place it on top of this, and that will create another beam at the bottom of this. Now I'll select two of these, right click and come to copy and snap on top of this here, and go all the way to the bottom end and copy another one here. You can see that we have completed that, and I'll do the same thing here and select all that, select copy, and I'll come here and snap on that spot and zoom out and take that position and place it, another one there. So immediately you see that yellow color means there's a duplicate which you don't want, so you can go ahead and click delete duplicate, and that's all. So I'm going to add another one. I'll right click and come to copy and pick it from this position and select on that and place another one at the bottom end here. Perfect. We have all our beams in place. Now I'm going to place the braces. But prior to that, we need some guidelines. Where do we start placing them? Now what I'm going to do here, first of all, I want to mark some points here. I want to place a point here. I want to place a point there. Perfect. So that is exactly what I want to do. Now I'll come here and come to navigate and try to turn this around, turn that down like that. I'll come here now. I'll come to steel and come to beam, and I want to place a brace. I want to brace this. I'll connect it to that end and double click on this member. I want to change this member. I'll come to profile here, and immediately you click that radio button there. That will take you to the profile catalog here. You can see, and we want to change this member to an RSA or an L shape profile. Now I'll come to L profile here, and I'll pick this type. I'll pick 75. Pick 75 by 8mm thick. I'll click apply and give it an OK here, and that will be okay. Let's first of all check how it is connected. This is perfect. It is perfect. And remember this just to show you how to model this, and only this comes after the structural analysis of the whole bridge has been done, the appropriate profiles have been suggested, and the report has been generated for this particular bridge. Now I'm giving you a leeway on how to model this, or model this and subject this to structural analysis for proper analysis, and the proper profiles are selected. And I'll come to this, I'll come to steel, I'll come to beam, and I want to create another one. I'll create another one from that spot, and I'll come to view, I'll come to navigate, I'll turn that round, I'll right click and come to interrupt, and I'll snap on that spot. And we have a member here. So I'll come to rotate and turn this round, and I want to turn this. Let me just double click on that and rotate that to back, and change that to below, and that is the position I want it to be on, and this is okay. So what I'm going to do, I just select this, select copy, and come to copy here. I'll snap on that midpoint and come all the way here and snap at the midpoint here, at the midpoint right there, and come all the way here and place another one right here, place another one right there, and come all the way here and place another one there, and move all the way and place another one at the bottom end here, right there. Perfect. Now the next move is to populate this along this, along the x-axis. Let me just get rid of that. So once you've done that, select that, select these members, and make sure what you intend to copy must be copied properly to all these beams, all these columns. Let me just select that, press Ctrl and select this, then right click and come to special copy here and click copy. And how many do you want? We want 6. We want 14 of them at a distance of 6. I'll go ahead and click copy, and we have a number of them already copied in place. So whichever extra we have, we just get rid of it. We just get rid of this, get rid of that, and get rid of this, get rid of that, get rid of that. Make sure you delete whatever you don't need. Get rid of that. We'll get rid of this and that. We'll come here and get rid of that and that, and we'll get rid of this. That one will remain in place. That one will remain right there, and we are okay. Now the next move is very simple. We'll just select all these. We'll just select this, right click and come to copy. We'll move out and snap on that spot, zoom out and snap on top of this member, and that's enough. We'll come here and select this also, or select these two, press Ctrl and select the two, right click and come to copy and snap at a particular position. That will make this copying process very much easier and quicker. Now I'll snap on that spot. So we have 2 of them in place. I'll need another one here, so I'll select this, and that, and right click and come to copy, and copy this. I pick any position that will be okay for me and okay for these beams copying properly. Now I'll snap on that spot. So I have these braces in place, and I need to add one here. I'll select on that and come to copy and snap on top of this one. I'll pick it from that spot and bring it at the bottom end here. Perfect. And that's how it looks. We are done with the other end, and we want to do something at this end. We select these 2 and press copy, select that 2, those 2, right click and come to copy, and we want to copy this from this end. We'll copy this from that position and take it down here. We take it down here, we'll snap right there, and we have our braces in place. We'll add another one here. We select that and come to copy it from that spot and bring it down here. You're trying to move a little bit quicker to kill the time or to reduce the modeling time. Now this is what we have in place. This is what we have in place, and our beams are all in the right positions. Now I want to we are going to another step. We are going to first of all lay the pedestrian's walkway on top of these beams. Remember, there's a lot to be done. First of all, bracing these trestles like that. We'll brace these trestles to each other so that it is a rigid structure that will be suspending our pedestrians walkway on top here. Now the next move, first of all, prior to supporting these trestles, now I'll come to on top of this beam. First of all, I'll come to edit here. I'll come to point and come and go all the way to at any position, and I'll snap on top of that. So once I've done that, I'll select on that point, come to spatial copy, pick on linear, and I'll drag this slightly away, and focusing on the x-axis, I want to offset this point away by 3 meters. I'll fit 3 meters on x-axis, but this time around we'll not prefix that with a negative sign because we are moving on the positive direction, and I'll get rid of this 14 number. I'll fit just one because I just need one copy of that point. I'll go ahead and click OK and copy. So I'll select this point, right click and come to copy, and pick it from that position and go all the way to this far end, and I'll copy it right here. I'll place it right here. So once I've done that, I have these 2 points stretching all the way. So you can even take a measurement. You come to measure, and you want to measure this stretch or this length. This is 95 meters. This is long. Now I'll come to steel. I'll pick on the beam, and I want to create a beam here running all the way to this far end. I'll snap on that spot, and we've created a beam, but this is a very small one. We need to modify this. We need a bigger beam that will be suspending, that will be our walkway, supporting a very light thickness of concrete at the top of our pedestrians walkway. I'll double click on this, then this will take me straight to profile catalog. The moment I click on this radio button here, I'll click on that radio button here and scroll down. I'll select on that, then I'll come to eye profiles here. I'll click on that, then I'll come to universal beams, and I'll pick this one. I'll pick the first one. I'll click apply and modify right there, and this is what I intended to land on. Now I'll come to positions here, and I'll change this position. I'll give the front position, and it moves right on the top of the columns. So this is how it looks. And I want to copy it. I need another copy on top of this. I'll select it from that position and bring it here, so that we have 2 beams on top of these trestles. Now I want to split these beams at the same span, because you'll never get in this world a steel with the full length of 45 meters from steel manufacturers. That is not possible. So these beams will be cut in either 6 meter or 12 meters. 12 meters is the standard length from the steel manufacturers, so it's always advisable you trim them in either 6 meters or you just use a 12 meters length. Now I'll come to application and component here. I'll click right here, and I need the macro here that will be able to cut these beams to appropriate lengths that will be easily transported to site, or will be easily lifted up by crane to on top of these trestles. Now on this field here, I'll just type divide because divide is the macro I'm going to use to divide these beams into to different lengths. Now I'll double click on this, and this is the dialog box where you'll be able to feed in the appropriate steel cutoffs of your choice. Now I need this to be cut in lengths of 10, and you have options here. The moment you cut this, you'll be able, you have all these options here to pick from. And remember, these macro are available in CivilMax website. You can walk in there and download whichever macro of your choice. Now I'll come here and select, as you can see the instruction at the bottom end here, pick the part you want to cut. So I'll select on this, Then I'll pick this position here. I'll pick this position. The moment I click on that position, you'll be able to see or give it some time to cut it. So you'll realize the moment it's cut off, you lose the original, because you have the instruction here. You can delete the original profile or you can retain the original profile. You have the option here. And once I've done that, I'll go ahead and create another one. I'll double click on this and do the same to this beam. I'll select on this beam and pick position right there, and you'll find it that all the these beams have been trimmed off to specific meters of 9.5 meters each. 9.5. So remember, these beams will be connected with splice. We'll have a splice connection at each end here. So that one aside, first of all, we'll come to that point when need be. Now, when the need arises, I'll come to beam here and I'll snap at the midpoint right there and move all the way to this end, and I'll snap right here. I've placed a beam there, but it's sitting on the wrong direction, sitting up, but we don't need it in that position. I'll double click on this beam once again and come to position under properties dialog box of the steel beam. I'll come to position here and change this position by picking at depth position. I'll bring it either behind, and that's how it look. But still, there's an offset. It's sitting in the wrong direction. It's sitting in the wrong position. Still, there's a protrusion of this part of the steel away from this main beam. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to push it inside by either picking right or left. I'll pick left to push it inside, and still I want to push it slightly inward by a meter or 1.5. I'll right click and come to special copy here, or move special and pick linear, and I'll move it in the direction in the direction of X. So everything here must change to 0 except the X axis. So I'll prefix my dimension with a negative sign right there and feed in my measurement, which is 1.5, and take it right there, which is wrong. We've chosen the wrong axis. So I'll copy it. I'll copy this to X axis, paste it there, and redo whatever I've just done. So this is how it will look. Now, prior to moving or populating this along the X axis, what I'm going to do right here, I'll come here and come to end plate. To just type end plate, and I'll scroll down and pick the appropriate end plate connection. I'll pick the simple end plate connection. I'll double click on that, and fortunately I have my preset here. I'll pick on that and load the settings here, and I'll go straight by after dragging that aside for me to see whatever I'm doing. I'll select on that and select on this and wait for that instruction to be processed, and the connection will be created simply like that. So I'll select on these once again, I'll select on that, and a connection has been created. So I'll get rid of this because I've created one here. So it's another simple step of just populating this along these two beams on top of these trestles. Now I'll right click on empty screen, then right click and come to redraw to refresh. Redraw means you refresh and get rid of any symbol of macro or any symbol of modification of a connection. You can see we have this in place, already connected to support the flow of our pedestrians walkway. Now we want to populate this along these two beams. I'll select on this, right click and come to special copy here and pick linear. Then again on the X axis here, I'll get rid of this because it's now an obstruction, because it's blocking us from seeing whatever we are doing. Now I'll select this member and I want to populate it along the X axis. What I'm going to do, I'm going to distribute it at 2 meters center to center. I'll feed in here 2 meters, and I need 46 here, 46, approximately 46. I'll click copy. I'll click copy after prefixing these 2 meters with a negative sign because we are moving in the opposite direction of X axis. Now I'll prefix that 2 meters with a negative sign, Then I'll go ahead and click copy and wait for the instruction to be processed, and we'll see all those populated along these two beams. So we have these in place, and all these beams have been copied properly and in the appropriate positions. Whichever part that has an improper connection will just rectify immediately. Now let me just right click and redraw to remove those signs of macro connection. So if I move closer, you can see this is right at the center of these two beams connecting to each other. So what we are going to do, I'll select on this, then right click and come to special move here, and I'll move it that way by 500 millimeter, by negative 500 millimeter, just 500, that's okay. And I'll come here and do a similar thing. I'll come to special copy here, and I'll move it forward. I'll move it forward by a meter. I'll get rid of this number. I'll move forward by a meter. I'll move this negative sign here so that we don't find ourselves in the wrong position. So I'll click OK, and we'll have another member right there. So we'll move along it and correct and remove any member that has positioned itself in an appropriate position that will inconvenience other connections that will come thereafter. So that one is correct, it is in the best position, and this one also is in the best position. This one slightly correct, and which one we need to correct? This one also we need to correct. We select on it and right click and come to special move. We'll come to special move and click linear. Then once we've selected that, we'll select either move, and then come here and feed at 1 meter and click move. We would have done with copy. So what we are going to do here, just close that. Once you've selected on this, right click and come to special copy, pick linear, then come to copy and click copy. We have another member on this direction. Then we still move along and correct members that have found themselves in position that needs to be corrected. Continue moving around and check any member, any beam that will be supporting the slight slab that will be on top here to provide a walkway for the pedestrians on top here. Let me just turn this round, and this is how it looks. And this way we will finalize our part 3 of this curved bridge or a pedestrian bridge supported on curved frames. So this is how it looks. Let me just turn it around so that you have a closer look at it. So we have a very long journey to complete this, because there's some members that we need to change, like on these trestles. We'll change these beams. And use a different one, because it's somehow absolutely wastage of materials on this. So we'll change this on the next presentation. Thanks a lot for watching this video. I'm Maurice Dimba, and please don't forget to subscribe to this channel after watching this video. And please take care, be safe, because we have a dangerous virus, COVID-19. Please quarantine, and please be safe. Bye bye, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye bye. I'm Maurice Dimba.